Hello everyone, my name is Sabien Windels. I currently work at the University College in Ghent, which is a part of the Catholic University Leuven. I'm a project officer in an Interreg project called ZECOS, which tries to set up a kind of certification system for cities who undertake steps towards sustainability. But today I'm going to talk about something completely different. I'm going to talk about fuel poverty. So what is it? What are the main causes? And why is it so important to tackle it? I will present the methodology that we have used in our research. So we have examined how vulnerable people can retrofit their homes in an energy efficient way. And I will elaborate on our results. And to conclude, I will present some best practices used in Northwest Europe to tackle fuel poverty. So to start with, for those who are unfamiliar with the term fuel poverty means being unable to afford to keep warm. So this is a definition according to the UK's Department of Energy and Climate Change. So if a household spends over more than 10% of its income, it's considered to live in fuel poverty. So the numbers are really huge because, for example, in the UK alone, 5 million households live in fuel poverty. Lately, more and more political importance is fuel poverty is getting more and more political importance because it has really a severe impact on society and human health. Different studies have shown that living in cold leads to mental illnesses such as anxiety and depression, but also a higher rate of mortality. So this cost for society leads to a higher place on the political agenda. According to the European Partnership of Energy and Environment, the main causes of fuel poverty lie in insufficient income, so poverty, but also rising energy prices and poor housing. In our research, we mainly focused on the housing conditions. So we examined how these socially disadvantaged people can retrofit their homes while taking into account their limited or no budget they have. Throughout our research, we made some assumptions. We focused mainly on emergency buyers. Those are buyers who buy a home to be financially better off, and this immediately leads me to the second assumption, they have no budget for retrofitting their home. So often they live in really poor houses. So what have we done? This research is based on 5 real-life cases, but I will only present you one. We calculated the energy consumption of each house through a static software tool, Energieberater, which is a German tool. And then we calibrated these results to the real energy consumption. So we gathered all the energy bills and compared the calculations with the real energy consumption. And last, we normalized these by taking into account degree days. So this final result was used as a benchmark to evaluate the set of measures that I will present you immediately. This set of measures is based on literature, and we see 3 groups. So we have the free measures like behavior change of energy supplier, which require no investment costs. Then we have the short-term measures. Those have an investment cost of less than 100 euros and a payback period of less than 1 year. And then the long-term measures, which are more effective, of course, but also more expensive. So our approach was to propose a step-by-step approach. So we started with free measures and the short-term measures and the long-term measures, so that every measure was or paid by the benefits from a previous set of measures or by a beneficial loan or possible grants. That way the implementing of the measures did not influence the family budget of the household. So as I said before, we used the benchmark, and with this benchmark we calculated the possible energy gains of each measure, and then we monetized these energy gains. And with the help of these cash flows, we calculated the net present value for each measure, which is a kind of indication of the total value of the investment. So taking into account the value of money. So it represents the actual value of the investment. So this is one of the case studies we've done. This house is situated in Ghent, in Belgium. It's a neighborhood which has a lot of poor built houses, because in the 19th-20th century a lot of labor workers built their houses there, but they're all small buildings and in a poor state. This house, the roof and the floor of the first survey has already been insulated, and also an energy scan has been executed, but still the E factor, the E level of the house is 199. This is in Belgium indication for the energy efficiency of the home. It's a very bad number. It's a very bad score. Okay, so here you can see the results of one of the measures, namely insulating the exterior wall. We've done the calculations for different kinds of materials. So that are the 4 different scenarios. And we see, so the dark green is the net investment. We've taken into account the grants for those vulnerable groups. And then you can see the net present value, which is much higher than the net investment cost. So we can conclude that this measure is highly lucrative. We found similar results for insulating the floor and insulating the stair sleeve. But now the most interesting part is if we put all these measures, so the 3 measures that I've talked about, into one graph, and we put the annual net profit per measure into the graph, we see that the results are quite promising, as the net profit immediately leads to a positive result. So yeah, in Belgium or in Flanders, these socially disadvantaged people can benefit from an interest-free loan to retrofit their homes. So that's what you see in the first 5 years, so the capital expenditures. But even so, with these capital expenditures included, the energy gains or the net profit is positive. And then from the 5th or the 6th year on, we see in total an annual net profit on average of 788 euros. So this could serve as a leverage for people living in fuel poverty. What we also see is that when all measures have been implemented, you see it in the table, the E level of the building is reduced from 199 to 93. So we see positive net profit for those families, and also a more energy efficient home. But often we have a prepaid politics by energy suppliers, so the benefits from the investment are often reaped a year after, which makes it less attractive for those people to invest in these kinds of measures. So that's why I would like to talk about an innovative concept in the city of Ostende in Belgium. It's called the performance guarantee. It tries to deal with this conflict, and also with the conflict of tenant and property owner, since we often see that this is a conflict that nobody of both parties wants to invest. So this concept is based on a performance guarantee that is signed by both the tenant as the party investing, so the promoter, and both have obligations toward each other. The promoter commits itself to pay for the investment if, for example, the roof insulation doesn't turn out to be lucrative. On the other hand, the tenant has obligations with regards to its behavior, data monitoring, and so on. There are also two other parties who are important. The energy supplier. The energy supplier commits to immediately reduce the energy bill with the monthly repayment of the investment. So this way, the investment does not influence the family budget of the tenant. And also, a part of the investment is paid by the tenant, by the property owner, illustrating the appreciation of its home. So it seems very, very simple, but it's very important for people living in fuel poverty to have this kind of guarantee that this investment won't influence their budget. So. And also for the promoter, the risk is very little because insulating measures are almost always lucrative, and there are also a lot of grants and fiscal advantages. Another interesting initiative is Warm Zones from the UK. Maybe you've heard about it, but it's very innovative because it approaches everyone and it provides advice and services. So they really go door to door and promote their program and explain to check the eligibility of the people. So, and if you're eligible, they help you with the whole procedure, so the financing methods, the measures, the contractors. And if you're not eligible, you can implement a limited set of measures at a reduced price. Another important or an interesting initiative in Germany is Klimaschutzberatung van Migranten voor Migranten. It's more addressing on communication. In Germany, they train people from foreign origin to give energy-reducing advice, and those people then serve as an intermediary for the other people in that same foreign community. Also, Energy Bus is an initiative in the Netherlands where people who have been unemployed for a long term are also trained and then incorporated in a kind of energy advice team that also helps advising other people. Yes, so thank you for your attention. If there are any questions.
Thank you, Sabien. Are there any questions? That was a very incredibly important topic. Many countries like the UK have a target for 2050 to make almost all buildings close to zero carbon. Mm-hmm. This is the sector that's most vulnerable to the impacts of high fuel prices and suffering the consequences of this. So tackling this sector is both a challenge but phenomenally important. Mm. Questions? Peter, and then one at the back.
Thank you. It really was very interesting. Has there been much discussion about people changing their behaviour as a result of having better insulated houses, what we call rebound effect, which effectively means you won't get the energy savings that you might theoretically have expected?
That was incorporated in the measures. So behaviour change, and we incorporate this in the study. We based on literature studies, so we took kind of percentage, but we didn't include this result because there's also something as the rebound effect that people from the start that they're investing in their home, they spill more energy on other things. So we kind of neutralized both, and by not incorporating them in the results as a kind of how do you call it? Yeah, or a buffer. Yeah.
Could I just add to that that actually it's a desirable effect of tackling, of insulating these properties, because very often people are living at low temperatures, and it's the health impacts associated with those low temperatures that is in part we're trying to avoid. So it's not actually a downside for investing in this, and certainly in the UK where we've refurbished homes, temperatures have risen. I mean, they haven't gone rocketing sky high, but they've risen. In part, that's because it's very difficult if you're installing insulation and a new central heating system to not heat your house to a warmer temperature, even if you wanted to, for various reasons to do with control and central heating. There was a question at the back.
Yes, thank you. Obviously, your project wasn't looking at this, but people always see investment in insulation as a kind of one-way flow of money. But it seems to me that that money comes back into the community purse through reduced calls on the health service. And I just wondered if there was any work to show where that money, how that money comes back into the system.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand.
The question is whether, in this case, insulating the properties not only improves their efficiency and then health, then potentially results in reduced fuel prices, but improves the health of people. And if you costed in that health, would it have be even more cost effective than the assumptions you've made?
Yeah. Probably. This research have been done for industrial engineers, so we didn't include the health impact, but of course it's a secondary benefit, which is highly important. So, yeah.
Could I also add to that DEC now do, in their evaluation of some of the energy efficient refurbishments, actually do use a model which costs health as well as monetary savings as a result of energy efficiency. Any other questions? Yep.
It's interesting you have behaviour changes as a free measure, which often it is perceived as that, but maybe you would need some level of marketing or other type of incentive to get people to change their behaviour. Have you looked at that to any degree?
Yeah, in Belgium we have a kind of service, it's called Energy Scan, where they, for people, socially disadvantaged people can benefit from that for free. And there's a team coming to your house and making an audit of your home, but they also give you a lot of tips on how to change behavior, how to work with your installation, how to have a more energy efficient behavior. So that's why we put it in the free measure category. But of course, marketing and good communication is important. But for our target group, this was seen as a free measure because of this service. Okay,
thank you very much. I'm afraid we're going to have to bring the questions to an end now if we're going to stick to time. Okay. Thank you very much, Sabien.
Thank you.